Hey, come catch this wave with the Fixx squad. The Fixx is in. I'm Mr. Soul, I'm tuning in. What you doing?
Stand up. James left, but the king still reigns here. No tears, no love lost, no rain here. Delivers, I promise, Santa reindeer. Love for the city still resides here. Fix for your ailment, faith that resides outside the lines. Detox your mind, cause it matters. Art outside the box, we paste better. The Fixx is in, and we rock a channel. We rock with them for what's deep within. Expose those who talk but don't live. Expose those who talk but don't live. Take offense. Judge by the fruit from the tree, but if the fruit
Welcome back. DJ Focus, Dice Gamble. You tap back into the Fixx, your source for faith-infused hip-hop, R&B, and poetry. And y'all know what time it is. It's time for, give y'all them exclusives. Y'all know how we do it. And we got a superstar on the line today, don't we, Dice?
Man, you do, Focus. And I'll be honest with you. I don't know how you keep getting these people on the show. I'm impressed. You've impressed me, but she's way more impressive than you. And she's a singer, definitely an inspirational artist. Some of you know her from being on season 2 of The 4, starring, Puffy and everybody else and their mama. Some of you may know her for just listening to her songs on Sundays, whether it be TikTok or Instagram. I saw Mike Teezy, and her on something, and I just she had me at Mike Teezy. I'll just put it like that. But this young lady right here, man, she is raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and some of you may know her because of Wisconsin, but I know her from just hearing some amazing music, being on stage with some big super names, touring with Jonathan McReynolds, you name it. Let us welcome into the studio, Kateri Bluford. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome to the Fixx. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank y'all for having me. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. No, we definitely appreciate you coming through. Yeah, this is fun. We like these moments when we get a chance to talk with some super dope, talented people. And something we like to highlight is believers being in spaces that we usually are not in. And I like that. Dice did a great job with the intro. Speak a little bit about that first, being on season 2 of The 4, like you being able to go and just show your gift that God gave you. But we know, you're a PK, you're faith centered. So even in the selections of the songs that you picked, even if they were R&B or whatever they may be, we still felt that God vibe from you. So speak to being able to bring that to that stage. What was that like?
That was pretty much an assignment. Pretty much. Just if you want to sum it up, that literally was not about me. That moment was not for Kateri to have a platform, for Kateri to get her moment. That was God literally taking Jesus to Hollywood. And it was in a very authentic way. I was never forced to change myself. I never had to literally switch my songs. And the crazy thing is that when I auditioned that song to the judges, they weren't even going to pick me after I was finished. But there was a producer in there and they said, listen, she did something to me that I've never felt before. And she sung a song I did not even know. They didn't even know Tasha Cobbs because that's the song that I auditioned for. And God met that man in that audition room. And that was how I got the opportunity to even pass and move forward. It wasn't the Celine Dion. It wasn't that. It was that I'm Getting Ready by Tasha Cobbs. And they've never really heard gospel like that before. It wasn't the traditional. It was like a feeling that they could not shake in that moment. And that's how I knew that God had sent me because again, sometimes we go afraid because we feel like, nobody's going to accept me. This is lame. Nobody's really doing it. And I went in like, God, if you called me to it, I know you can literally bring me through it. So I was able to be Kateri no matter what. I didn't change for nobody. Every time they talked to me, I was pouring into them. And I just had this boldness that I knew this is not me. This has to be God because how I'm speaking to these people, how I'm walking through these rooms, and I'm smiling at them, and there's this glow that when they see me, they stop. Like, oh my God, like there's just something different. But that's when you know that, you have to be ready for Hollywood. If not, Hollywood will be ready for you. And if you don't really have God on the inside of you and know what your purpose is, then you're going to go and be a mockery. And that's not what God wants. He doesn't want you to go into spaces and be manipulated out of what he truly has called you to be. So that was an experience for me to see within myself that this is all about the people. This has nothing to do with me.
I'm just blown away over here, Dice. Lord help me. No, seriously, because we do, and it's a blessing when we get a chance to talk with people, because we talk about it all the time, being bold in your faith. But not only being bold in your faith, what I'm hearing too as well is you submitting to what God has called you to do. Because a lot of us run away from our call. I would argue we get revelation early, and a lot of us are scared for whatever reason or just don't submit. Where did that boldness come from you where you said, you know what, no, I'm sold out. This is what I'm going to do. And it's not just because, like you say, your parents was preachers, your father was a preacher. This is what God has me on assignment, whether my dad or my family members were sold out. I need to be sold out. I need to be bold when I walk in these rooms. When did you know you had that, though?
I knew that it was my mission when I did my interview. It's kind of like the B-roll type interview where you got to sit down and kind of tell your story. And there was no drama in sight. I blessed those people. I know I did. And they will always remember me for that moment because through my story, I know I blessed so many different people to just be true. Like you don't have to fake the funk. If you went through some stuff, tell it. If you literally watch God pull you out of things and literally kept you from maybe a car hitting you, maybe an abusive relationship, or maybe just him waking you up in the morning, like that is a blessing. And to see the smiles and the open arms that they welcome me in, and that's rare. Usually people in Hollywood, they're, depending on who you are, they're snooty, they don't treat you right, they feel like, you don't got no status, so whatever. But I received the best treatment. Like now that I'm actually looking back on my experience, there was no foul play. Like there was nothing. Nobody said anything out of line. They respected me. But again, that's how I knew God. This was God.
We talk about that all the time on the show. I appreciate you sharing that story. Just being prepared to be in these spaces. We even sometimes just count how many people will confess that they even are Christian or they show up as such. And there are few and far in between. So I really appreciate you showing up in that way. Like when did you know this was your mission? Because clearly you have a mission when you are expressing yourself. When it comes to the faith. Like when did you know, like, no, this is what I should be doing? Because you do it very boldly. So
Ooh, I knew I had it before I went on the floor. And so literally it actually magnified it when I had to show up, when I had to prove that I meant what I said. It was when I stepped on stage and the pressure was, what are you gonna do? Who are you? Like I know, yeah, people sing gospel, yeah, they do all that. I get it. Yeah, we done seen a lot of you before. But are you really who you say you are? And so I had to prove to them that I mean what I say. Like this is the true gospel, like I said it. And when I walked out of there, again, there was this boldness of Kateri. You gotta let them know that God is real. So you gotta sing that song and make them feel it until literally the whole room can understand that this is a God moment. And I knew when I looked around in the crowd and people were in tears. They didn't show the true visual of what I saw. Because, you know, TV don't, you know, they paint it how they want it. But people was yeah, God was in the room. And so I knew when I walked out on stage and I saw those judges and I said, okay, God, I'm finna do this. I'm finna let them know that you had an opportunity to get to know God, and you can never say that you never heard of him because I'm here. I gave you an opportunity. So that's what I knew. I had the boldness in my faith and being able to walk alone and trust that God was with me no matter how I was brought up, because I wanted to be used by God, and that is my everyday process. That is my everyday goal. I'm not leaning on the faith of my father. I'm not leaning on the faith of my mother. I'm leaning on the fact that I know him for myself. So we're going to take it to the world.
You could have told me she was going to come on here preaching this morning, Dice. You could have told me. You could have told me.
Well, I mean, y'all just hit her on the Cash App. I thought she was gonna break out into leaning on the everlasting arms. She was hitting the thing, and I said, you know, she know them hymns, so I was waiting on her to just break.
That's so funny
I
to
was
me.
ready. I was ready. Yeah.
I keep a red hymn book close. I'm that humming deacon. I'm gonna get you ready. I'm gonna get you ready. So by the time you get the mic, oh, you ready?
You do, you humming. Now that I think about it, because you do kind of go there. Speaking of these hymns, go ahead and okay. So there are some people who obviously they haven't heard of you like either singing or being on television. Can you tell our audience though, like who are like maybe your top 3 responses from people who you know they don't express faith or maybe they aren't in the faith, but like what like who has responded to you where you're like, wow, you know, I never would have guessed that.
Ooh, if I can think, it's a lot of people. I know Ty Dolla $ign is probably the biggest one. That I was like, huh? It's like this man is on my page, like he follows me, like he's really. I've seen Snow Allegra, I've seen Jasmine Sullivan. Who else I've seen? I mean, you got Yeba, you got. I mean, PJ, he's still in the faith, but you know, PJ is
PJ don't like nobody.
Yeah, I know. But I mean,
That's the drop the mic moment right there when you got PJ following you. That yeah.
I mean, I got Queen Latifah even stopped through. Ooh, I mean, I'm talking about like years of just being on social media, and I can't even count. Like really, I can't count how many people have seen. And I mean, even Sierra actually put me on her page. I was singing one of her songs, and she loved the way that I did it. She never posts anybody. You don't never see nobody on Sierra page,
You right about that. You going there right
but
now. Ain't nobody on there but her and the family.
nobody. And so I mean, Sierra showed love. So it's like, I know like I'm called to that space, and I know that somebody said something to me not too long ago and said, Kateri, you speak their language, but you're not them. That's a different type of individual when you can speak somebody's language but not act like them. Meaning I can come into your life and in your space and literally understand you, but I have the ability to change you. So it's just crazy how I've affected the
I feel like she auditioned. I feel like she auditioning for the Fixx, because that's what the Fixx is. Me and Dice walk in rooms, we change temperatures. They
hey, that's
know
a
it.
word.
And but they receive us. It's not a judgment, it's a relationship thing, and it's a respect thing. So that is very important that you're talking about that, sis. Listen, stay right there. I got to go to a quick break. We coming right back to pick up on this. Listen, DJ Focus, Dice Gamble. You already see. Listen, if you ain't got your Bible out, I don't know why. Because listen, Kateri came through here preaching early in the morning. Just want to give you a word and let you know, listen, we on assignment. Okay, listen. We be right back. Keep it locked. You tuned into The Fixx.
And the fix is in.
Only Culture Radio. We're not just background noise. We play the music that inspires you because every song has a story. Christian hip hop and R&B music and talk on Siriusxm channel 154, 24 hours a day. Holy Culture Radio is changing the game. Discussions about faith, arts, vocation, and education. We talk about the real issues that affect our communities and work together to find solutions. Join the discussion at holyculture.net and be heard.
Welcome back, DJ Focus, Dice Gamble. You tap back into The Fixx, your source of faith-infused hip-hop, R&B, and poetry. We still got Kateri B on with us. So listen, we talk about it all the time, sis, when we say, we need to be in different spaces. So, it's always the thing has been lately, and we talked about it last week. Should Christian artists do music with secular artists or mainstream artists? And if they do, does that tear away from the fruit of the song or the message of the song? So I definitely want to get your thoughts, being that you've been in these spaces and you just name dropped about everybody and their mama on how they listening to you. So just in case you got some collabs you want to drop today, you want to mention, you can go ahead and give us that exclusive. But no, seriously, getting back to just what's your thoughts on should Christian artists do music with secular artists?
I'll say this. It depends on the content. And here's my thing. A lot of people gave Tasha flack on collaborating with Nicki, but people just don't understand that just because you see people on this app, you don't know the conversations that people are having with God. The Bible said he reigns on the just as well as the unjust. You cannot be God to these people. That is God's job. You cannot give them any more grace than God. Like, we have to really, really calm down and understand that you don't know what Tasha has influenced Nicki to be. You don't know how sometimes people can literally be in seasons where God literally can grace them and keep them on this planet until they get to that level of coming out of what they've been in for years. This is not an overnight thing. So you cannot build this wall of secular artists cannot collab if we all got to be the same. We all got to be perfect. Christian artists ain't perfect either because they be doing stuff too. We gotta stop this nonsense. It is soul to soul. If your agenda is I'm winning souls or I'm influencing this person to love me for me, and I'm going to love them for them, and somehow, some way, the power of God, if God can reach that next person, then I'm doing my job because we're not going to forget each other. She's not going to forget me. I'm not going to forget her. And sometimes we can get so caught up in this music thing, but forget that they are all human. Okay. We're going to make mistakes. We all do. It's just our sinful nature. That's why we need God. If we didn't have God, we will all be sinners. So technically, the only thing that literally separates us is the grace of God. Not because we're good enough, because we're not. We're the same. We are all in the same category. But some of us just have the extra knowledge of God that keeps us governed, that keeps us from falling, that keeps us from not making mistakes. So I don't think that it's bad for secular artists to collab with Christian artists, but it depends on the content. If you're coming to me to make a song that agrees with my spirit, then I'll do it. But if you're trying to pull me over to your side, we can't collaborate. If you want me to respect you of what you love, respect me for what I love. And if you're coming to me, you're coming into my world, wanting me to collab with you, we have to have a common ground. If the common ground is we reaching souls, that's our common ground. But it depends on which souls we're reaching. It depends on the souls that we're reaching, because you can be fooled and tricked, and you'll be reaching other people in another type of light, and you thought you was doing something because you just have love for people. But you got to be wise that, okay, God, what is your goal for this? Don't accept it because they have a name, because the only name that really does powers and wonders is Jesus. But I don't want to go all the way into that. But I just say this: you got to be careful with who you collab with, because those people, they bring spirits. Okay, the demons that they deal with, when you enter into a connection with them, those same spirits, if you're not strong enough, will come right after you, because we wrestle not against flesh and blood. We're not wrestling against these bodies. We're wrestling against the spirit of the person. So you got to be careful that you're not intertwining yourself with spirits that you don't have the power to defeat. Because you may think just because you know God, you can fight and wrestle. But if you really not in the faith and in your word and really stand on an assignment to collab with these people, you're not going to have the wherewithal to stand and really fight off what the enemy really wanted and intended for you. So you got to be careful and cautious just because it's popular, just because it makes you feel good. You got to know this is not about how we feel. We don't make music because we feel good. We make music because we want to express good, the goodness of God, how good he is. And so when I make music, yeah, it's fun to make it, but I'm making it because I have a message I got to get to. Like I need people to know. Like if I collaborate with a big name, y'all gonna know God told me to do that. And of course you're gonna get flack about it, because people they just like to talk. But it has to be a God movement. It has to be. The agenda, we have to have a common ground. And it has to be clear, because God is not the author of confusion. So he's not gonna put you in a place where people are confused of their faith. No. You're gonna know loud and clear. I'm collaborating for this cause and this cause only, and that's it. None more, none less. This is why I'm collaborating. So that's my take. I know I went long, but
No, you good.
but
You good.
that's my take on that. Like, we got to be very careful and cautious of who we collaborate with, because again, you could literally confuse people and literally just be doing it out of goodness of your heart. So you just got to be wise on that.
Well, let's talk about this collaboration you got with Mike Teezy, Lover of My Soul. This thing is ridiculous. That just goes perfect. Talk about the inspiration behind it and y'all just working together on this song.
The crazy thing is that Mike, he ended up getting on my song as a favor for somebody else. I knew of Mike because I was on Instagram and I saw his stuff, and I was like, man, Mike is amazing. But how we got connected was one of my producers, they're friends, and so he was like, hey, I need you to hop on this record for one of my friends. And he was like, okay, cool. It was a favor. I didn't know the favor was for me. He just so happened to send back his verse, and I'm like, wait, this the guy I saw on Instagram. And the crazy thing is that what you guys are listening to is not even our final edits. Those were literally just scratches. The vocals, everything that we did was a one try thing. That was, let's see if this works. And we ran with it because it was so perfect. The vocals, everything. I didn't redo nothing. And I wanted to redo the record because I'm like, listen, I don't feel like I gave my best. I don't feel like vocally, I don't think I killed it. But to see the response, and, with Mike being on the record, it exposed me to a whole nother lane, into the Christian rap community. And I'm like, I don't really dive into Christian rap, but since I'm over here, I'm over here. I'm going to accept it. So But the song was literally inspired by just acknowledging that Jesus is really the lover of our soul. Like, we got to recognize that Jesus loves all of us and our soul matters. And so when my producer came up with the concept of, like, let's call it Jesus lover of my soul, and it resonated with me because it's an anthem for the lost. It's an anthem for people who understand God but really feel as if he don't love them. So it just wheels them in to understand that, you know, no matter what you do, no matter how far you go, Jesus still loves you. Your soul still matters. If you're still on this earth, you still have a chance to come back home. So that's the inspiration around the entire record, how it was created, and how me and Mike was able to create this masterpiece.
It is a masterpiece. And, welcome to CHH. You know what I'm saying? When she was talking, I was like, girl, when I call you to get on this album now, don't act like you and Alex don't know. It's Dice from the Fixx. Um, I really appreciate you sharing the why. I think for me, sitting on this side and definitely focusing on the thing that drives us every day is the why. And I think some people do get lost in that, and it's so important for people like you to just reiterate that, like, yeah, this it could be fun, it could be exciting, this could be a big name, but that end result, like, it better sound like what it's supposed to, you know what I'm saying, like, it better do what it's supposed to do, you know what I'm saying, you sending it out there, that intention, it definitely does need to be there. We talk about it all the time. We just said this last week. I said, please don't go out there if that ain't your ministry, because you could get caught up in something, and now you stuck, you didn't even, you just out here, nilly willy doing your thing, without being in purpose. So it's just refreshing to hear somebody who is in purpose. Usually we ask 1,000 questions. Today, I think we asked you 4 because you gave us the thing that we usually are asking people, like, who are you? What do you do? What drives you? You know what I'm saying? What is that result? What has God said to you? So you just nailed it on the head today for me. So thank you, Kateri. Yeah.
What's next, sis? What's next? What can the people expect next? I know you're gonna run this single for a minute, but album beginning of the first quarter. What can we expect?
Listen, so I'm working on my EP, and I want to title it "Life Is Good," because sometimes you get tired of listening to the struggles. Sometimes you get tired of listening to what we're going through, and it's like, listen, at the end of the day, when you get up and you think about it, like, life is good because God is good. Life is good because you get to live this thing and call on a name, and He show up. Like, not calling on your friends, not calling on your cousins, they might come. But no. You get to live this life and call on somebody that is always there. And so life is good because that is consistent. And I want to put out an EP before the end of the year. If it drops before the end of the year, that's cool. But if not, I'm working on a few more singles that is going to drop possibly back to back this year. And so it's gonna be amazing. So y'all want to stay tuned, stay locked, because I know I went over to the Christian hip hop, but I'm gonna give y'all one good church record that's gonna make y'all feel like, ooh, all right, now come on, I want to get saved. So I'm just excited for the next, and what this EP is gonna do, because I believe it's gonna change some lives out there.
Well, let's just know that we supporting you, sis. We looking forward to it, and you in a blessed place because everybody can't do the traditional gospel as well as the urban gospel. We call this "Lover of My Soul." This would be like an urban gospel type deal.
Urban
So
gospel.
yeah. So you in a blessed place because everybody ain't got the vocal range to be able to play these games. These is games y'all playing. So you're right. Make sure you say extra prayer every night. Say thank you, Lord, for blessing me.
Yes, blessing me.
Yes. Listen, tell the people how they connect with you, follow you on your social media platforms, as well as introduce your latest single.
Okay, so you can follow me on Facebook at KB Global Music. You can follow me on Instagram at KB Global Music, TikTok _ KB Global Music, and everywhere else. I am at KB Global Music. And so today I want to introduce my song, Lover of My Soul, featuring Mike Teezy.
Keep it locked. You tune into The Fixx.
And the Fixx is in.